the opportunity for brands is obvious. Commerce media is today's shopper marketing. When you're going to be as close to the decision process as you can with commerce media, the brands have to play.
Joining me at the Speaker's Corner, powered by the New York Stock Exchange, is Michael Kassan. He is the founder and CEO at 3C Ventures. Michael, great to have you here. Thanks for joining me.
It's such a pleasure.
Thank you. So now, Michael, 3C Ventures has a big presence at Possible this year. So tell me, what are some of the sessions that you're hosting, and why are conferences like this so important for the industry right now?
I have a particular affinity to this conference. Yeah. And the reason I feel that way is I was fortunate enough to be one of the early investors in this conference and became chairman of it. So it's very near and dear to my heart. And here we are on the third year of Possible. And what we did, and this is really a shout out to the team at Possible and our partners with the MMA and now Hive, the ownership, we proved that which people thought was impossible, in fact, was possible. With over 5,000 attendees this year, it's quite extraordinary. And the response has been really daunting. And I'll tell you, last year in an interview, someone said, Michael, at the end of the day, in year two, they said, did we really need another conference? And one bit of Latin I learned when I was young was the expression res ipsa loquitur, which means it speaks for itself. I said, look around. I guess the world needed another conference. But to your question, why? Conferences that are done right are very efficient ways for the industry to not only share ideas, but to use efficiency in terms of meeting and interacting with your partners, your clients, your prospects. It's an efficient way to do it when you have everybody in one place. And so therefore, conferences done right really do work. And the beauty of Possible is that the mix of our guests is now reached over a third of the attendees are actually the marketers. So when you have a conference like this, one of the risks you run is you have too many people who are sellers and not enough people who are buyers. Possible has really kind of achieved the right balance and continue to see that percentage grow.
And what are some of the sessions that you're hosting here at Possible?
I feel like I needed a few wardrobe changes because I'm ending up on the stage more than I'd like. And I say that not to sound silly, but I've been fortunate to kick off the conference this morning, interviewing John Furner, the president and CEO of Walmart US, which was a very exciting conversation because Walmart touches so many aspects of the world as the largest employer in the world, as the largest retailer in the world, as we're at a moment where commerce media and all the things that were interesting to this audience was great. So I've had that this morning. Tomorrow, I'm hosting a conversation with one of my idols, and I think the idol of many, Bobbi Brown, who is so famous for her cosmetics, but also her journey as a founder and as a successful entrepreneur, and somebody who in this version with Jones Road decided to forego the direct retail and went direct to consumer. And it's obviously working so well. So I'm getting an opportunity with Bobbi. And then finally, Bill Reedy, the CEO of Pinterest, I will have an opportunity to interview him. So as I said, you know how hard it is to say what I'm about to say. When you have to do that many times, as you do, you got to keep it fresh.
Yeah, you do. And I might be a little jealous. But let's pivot. So let's talk about Gen AI. Tell me, how is Gen AI changing creative workflows and the way humans and algorithms collaborate?
Well, I talked about this morning. Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, was speaking at the NBA Tech Summit back in February on NBA All-Star Weekend. And he looked out at the audience, and I said it this morning from the stage, and he said, there was about 1,000 people, and he looked out and he said, the good news for you folks is AI won't replace your job, but somebody who understands AI will probably replace your job. But then that person will ultimately have their job replaced by AI. So we're down the road, we're kicking the can, but pay attention, which goes to the core of education. And one of the things that we all understand is, as the world is changing, and we are clearly at an inflection point relative to AI and the impact, you have to understand it. You better get educated, because if you don't, that train's leaving the station and you won't be on it.
Very true. So now connected TV, it's having a moment. What's fueling the rapid growth in programmatic CTV spend?
Connected TV, the value proposition comes down to data at this point, at the end of the day. And you see it. And I go back to Walmart, interviewing John Ferner this morning. We talked about the Vizio purchase. Why did it make sense for Walmart, who, by the way, sells more televisions than anyone in the world? Little fact.
Didn't know that.
And Vizio is one of the better selling brands inside of Walmart, and now they own it. But this isn't an integration for that reason. The beauty of what Walmart saw in Vizio was a data play for Walmart Connect, because their view is we want to touch the consumer on every aspect of their journey. And connected TV, the data that you can have from the perspective of the consumer, it's game changer. And aligning Walmart with Vizio, again, was a data play, not a hardware play. And by the way, when you think of that, and you think of Tubi, and you think of Vizio, and you think of some of the networks and Roku, this is the future for so many. Again, the data play is what makes it beautiful.
Now we're seeing retail media and CTV come together. What's the opportunity here for brands?
I've sworn off of using the word retail media. I'm going to adopt the word commerce media, because everybody's got a media network now. So it's not just retailers. I mean, banks, there's a retail aspect to banking, don't get me wrong. But Uber has a media network. They're not a retailer. So you have to think of it in terms of commerce media. Obviously, commerce media is today's shopper marketing. When you're going to be as close to the decision process as you can with commerce media, the brands have to play. You know, what's the reason you're going to choose one brand over another in a brick and mortar circumstance? It's going to be positioning on the shelf, end cap, in-store marketing. That's the same thing. So brands need to be there.
Now, how is M&A reshaping the ad tech landscape?
Let's start with the pending merger of Omnicom and IPG. If you think about that, that's a pretty important statement around M&A in this business. And we're not talking about small M&A. We're talking about large M&A. You know, I love when people say big data versus small data. This is big M&A. But I think that gives you an indication. And I would predict that if we're here next year, there'll be another story like that of more consolidation. So I tell you that today, and I'd make a pretty fair bet that we'll have a conversation like that next year with more and more M&A.
All right. And finally, Michael, 3C Ventures is approaching its 1-year mark. So tell me, what's next for your growth story?
Well, continuation. Let's start with that. Okay.
That's important.
I'm an optimist. So continuation of growth, but we're very fortunate. It's been, whilst we're in a crazy market for all of us, it's been a very robust time for us, because I think what we've been able to assemble are people and a team, and we've just passed 30 folks at 3C, so it's a milestone for us that can answer the questions that the industry has right now. And we love to be able to solve problems. And I learned something recently, and something I'm sure many have heard, but I hadn't heard it before. And it was somebody describing the difference between knowledge and intelligence. We all understand what knowledge means, but the way this person said it, intelligence, the difference between knowledge and intelligence is knowledge is knowing things, intelligence is solving problems. So what I'd like to say is we're doubling down on intelligence at 3CV, and we're hopeful we can solve a lot of challenges and opportunities and problems that the industry is facing.
Well, Michael, it has been fantastic to talk with you here at the Speaker's Corner. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much.